Alright, hey YouTube. A while ago, I promised you guys a video on the Inazuma craftable claymore and polearm, but then I never released it, and now it's like a whole update later and nobody really cares about these anymore. So this video is gonna get like negative views. But yeah, this video. I felt like re-recording this to make it a bit better because these weapons are actually like surprisingly good after some thought. Even if the perk seems a little underwhelming or detrimental to some characters, they're actually like really good. Now, disclaimer, these weapons are like level 20 and the polearm is level 1. This isn't a damage showcase or anything. This is just a demonstration of the perk and its effects on different characters. Now, both of these weapons have the same perk called Samurai Conduct, and what they do is increase your elemental skill damage by a quite low amount, honestly. At R5, this becomes 12%, which is still really low, but I mean, it's something. But after an elemental skill hits an opponent, basically you lose 3 energy, but you gain 3 energy every 2 seconds for the next 6 seconds. In total, it's about like 6 energy you gain at Refine 1, which may not seem that significant, but it's actually not bad, and the energy drain isn't like detrimental to your characters building their ultimates or anything. So we're gonna go to Masanori here, our test dummy, and just demonstrate that real fast. I hit this guy with my elemental skill, and you can see, yeah, I'm slowly gaining energy over time, and it's really not a hold or something that gives me double particles. This is... I will say that the perk does have a cooldown. This only happened every 10 seconds, so every 10 seconds the energy drain will happen. So keep that in mind for low cooldown skills. Like, I guess technically Beto here, because her cooldown is low enough to where it won't proc on every other hit of her elemental skill. But this should just give me my ultimate now that I have the energy regen, and yeah. Now, I guess I could see some problems with rotation. Say, if you have your burst, right, but then you use your E, you're gonna lose your burst for like a temporary amount, but then the energy, the elemental particles should just refund it right back. So it's really not a problem for most characters. Now, just like the Amanoma Kageuchi, the perk does not really work at all during low tide. Basically, what will happen is you will lose energy, but you won't gain any during low tide. So I guess we could show it off here. All right, now low tides happen. I could hit them with my elemental skill, and you see I won't gain it back at all. So I've effectively lost my ultimate for the duration when low tide happens, but that's just a quirk of low tide. Honestly, once low tide goes away, you won't have to ever worry about that ever again. But what you're probably wondering is why use this over something like Sacrificial Greatsword or Favonius Greatsword? Because their effects are just better or greater overall. And the reason why you'd want to consider this over these two weapons is because of chance. Both of these weapons have a chance to proc, whereas the craftable weapon happens basically every time on a 10-second cooldown. So you don't need high refinements to make the weapon's perk more consistent at all. And as you see with high refinements here, the amount of energy you lose stays the same, but the amount of energy you gain goes up, as well as the elemental skill damage. Something I also discovered in the last recording of the video is that this weapon's perk actually works at 0 energy. Like, you won't lose any energy because you have literally 0, but you'll just start gaining energy very slowly. Now, this weapon also works particularly well on Chongyun, because for the most part, all he has to do is cast his E skill twice, and he gets his burst back up, and that's really all it takes. And that's something like even the Sacrificial Greatsword can't do unless you like maybe level it up to get you more energy recharge. But because this weapon has such a high base stack, it doesn't give you that much energy recharge in the first place. And again, the perk is chance based, so it's not always going to proc, and it has a massive cooldown. I guess gets lower and lower with refinements. But since my Chongyun is so low level, I'm also going to include a shield character. Let's put my shield up and pillar way the hell over there. And I'm gonna try and run away. There we go. Energy is happening. And you see, with the energy regen, it's just enough for me to get my burst back from 0, which is something that even Sacrificial Greatsword can't do right now with Chongyun.
Swift and merciful.
And,
A touch of frost.
and then I cast my E twice. And we got like, I want to say 75 to 80% of our ultimate there, just from 2 casts of our E skill. So we need a 3rd cast to actually get our burst back. Susceptible to change with energy recharge, but consistently, even without that, you don't have to worry about that with this weapon. Now for characters like Razor, who don't gain any energy particles in their burst, it also works on them too. But let's show that off here with our training dummy. Okay, cast our burst, right? So we have 0 energy. Cast my E. And you can see, very, very slowly, I am gaining energy. So if there are more upcoming characters that would want energy during their ultimate and they don't gain any, then you could really see this weapon shine more. But currently only Electro Razor really wants energy recharge. So it's really hard to justify on a character like Razor. Now I'll show off the pull-up characters. And the pull-up characters I have that can show off are Xiangling, Raiden, and I can show this off on Zhongli a little bit. But let's start with Xiangling. Now currently my Xiangling is built to have a fuckload of energy recharge right now. I have 230, which is a bit high, but I find Xiangling more enjoyable to play with this amount of energy recharge anyways. But what my Xiangling is absolutely lacking in is attack percent, and elemental mastery for more damage, basically. So this weapon could be a good alternative to my Favonius Lance here, because I don't have a Dragon's Bane at all, and I just got the catch, but it's not refined, and I plan on using this on another upcoming character. Now Xiangling herself doesn't generate a lot of particles, so this weapon could really pick up the slack there, because the amount of energy you gain from this at Refine 1 is the equivalent of like 2 extra particles for the most part. Put Guoba here, hopefully he doesn't like jump out of the range. Oops. So it looks like we got like 45% of our burst there, just from Guoba. Please don't hit me. Nope. Guoba, please hit. No, he blocked. Oh, but I still generated the particles though. That's alright. So we get about like 90% of our ultimate there, which that makes sense. So it looks like it's gonna take 3 casts to get our burst back just from Guoba alone. So with 200% energy recharge, that wasn't so bad actually, to be honest. If we improve this with refinements to get, you know, more energy regen, we could probably get our burst back just in 2 casts of Guoba for the most part. So that's not that bad, and considering you're getting elemental mastery and skill damage with it, I think that's fairly solid. But again, it would require refinements or extra energy recharge substats in order for you to improve from that more. Now for the character that most people are probably curious about is Raiden Shogun, and if this weapon is any good on Shogun for the most part. Now my Shogun isn't exactly built that well, because I didn't really plan on getting her. I really wanted to get Kujo Sara and Kokumi, but then I got sniped by a 45 pity Shogun. And I really don't have a place for her in my teams, because she's, for the most part, just a 5-star official. Now before you start defending Shogun in the comment section, please note that the Raiden mains are doing the opposite of that, and Chinese lawyers are already getting involved in the Raiden Shogun situation. So please don't make yourself look like a clown in my comment section. But that out of the way, I actually do think that this weapon is quite good on Shogun. In fact, I think it's underrated. Because even though the energy gain may seem insignificant, this effect will actually proc twice because of the extremely long duration that Transcendence has. I think my Shogun at the moment has 150% exactly energy recharge. But if you're really just don't plan on using Shogun's burst at all for the most part, and just using her for the Electro Aura that she gives from her E, then I'd probably definitely recommend this weapon for sure.
Shine down.
So he missed a little bit of hits there, but almost. But for the most part, it's still going to require you to cast your E twice. Now the last character I could try this out with is Zhongli, because despite him having a 40 energy burst, he does have energy recharge problems for whatever reason. Like his particle generation is just so, it's so weird. It's spotty. It's not very consistent at all. And I actually run a ton of energy recharge on him, pairing an energy recharge sands with an energy recharge weapon. But we can try dropping that for now, just to see the effects of the weapon. I have 135% energy recharge on Zhongli. Alright, let's try this out on Zhongli.
Stabilize.
So for the most part, every time I recast my shield, I should be able to use the perk. Yeah, unless he's getting battery, this really isn't that impressive. And also the pillar is not hitting him at all, so I'm not getting any extra particles from the pillar. This is all just the perk of the weapon for the most part. Also considering how mobile Masanori is. Right, he's just gonna jump out of the pillar's range anyways. Let's try and hit him with the pillar. Or not, okay. I'm trying so hard to hit him with the pillar, my man. Alright, there we go. So yeah, without a battery or party members for the most part, it's still really fucking hard to get Zhongli's ultimate by himself. And this weapon helps a little bit. And I guess unlike Favonius, it doesn't force you to run like a crit rate hat in order to basically make the perk more consistent. So there is that upside to it, but you really want to sprinkle in some geoparticles every now and then. Otherwise, it's still a pain to build. So personally, I'd still probably build energy recharge on Zhongli, even if he had this. And also the main stat being elemental mastery. Not super amazing for geo characters, but with the buff to crystallize and shatter, it could be good for those compositions where you're running a shatter team or a crystallized team for whatever reason. Then I could see a use for this weapon. But other than that, it's okay, but you'd probably still want to run Favonius or Prototype Star Glitter for the most part. And also the catch is really good on him for obvious reasons. So overall, the perk really isn't that bad. In fact, the perk is actually quite good. I think the main contender with these weapons is their substats. One being ER and one being EM. If you don't have a Dragon's Bane, this is definitely going to be really good. And the perk, while it doesn't contribute to damage, it doesn't contribute to your burst uptime, which is still quite valuable. Anyway, guys, that's all for me. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.